We are planting fearlessness.
We are cultivating our collective liberation like seedlings, becoming snakes peeling skins and eagles breaking beaks, bursting out of cocoons and new skin.
We are planting movements of intersectional solidarity and decomposing systems that extract, dispose, and exploit.
We are planting the seeds of a world where Breonna Taylor, Breonna Hill, Tony McDade, George Floyd, Ora Rosser, Janet Wilson, Shelley Treasure Hilliard, Cora Bell Jones, and Cynthia Scott would still be with us.
We are healing our intergenerational trauma so that future generations can harvest our freedom rather than our pain.
We are planting seeds of intentional connection, of ways of drawing closer together.
We are planting youth leadership and harvesting education justice.
I am planting what I can't imagine and what I can. This wild, disabled imagination. A mobile, accessible safe house and free brown dirt where we can breathe, where we can root, where we can fly free, where we can live and love each other.
We are harvesting the dreams of generations of abolitionists.
We are harvesting new worlds without the police, where we address harm within our communities, amongst ourselves.
We are lovingly planting the seeds of sovereignty and harvesting abolitionist futures. Our people are free.
Three, two, one, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1 it now.
3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1,
3, 2, 1 it now. 3, 2, 1.
Darkness gives shape to light, as light shapes the darkness. Death gives shape to life, as life shapes death. The universe and God shares wholeness, each defining other. God gives shape to the universe and God. He said, all your cattle out there, Joseph the Lord, God given, Lord God take it away, Joseph blessed be the name of the Lord.
All right. Hello, hello, hello. I am Toshi Reagon coming to you from Brooklyn, New York. My people from Albany, Georgia, and Nashville, Tennessee. I am so grateful to be here with you now. I extend so much gratitude to the Allied Media Conference and the multiple circles of us who have come together, even in these physical distancing, keep each other well times. A practice many of us have already been activating well before this world pandemic. I have never been to AMC, but I was thrilled to learn at this virtual gathering how real and how close we are. I learned about the water here, the Detroit water, transmedia, the frequency, the vibration of healing, and how we are so aligned with the universe for real. If we were not where we are, we might be together in Detroit. And tonight, I would be with you with the cast of Octavia E. Butler's Parable of the Sower, singing the opera Octavia E. Butler's Parable of the Sower. We will get to that place. As an offering to the closing question around seeding and harvesting, I offer my voice. The sonic vibration of my being was seeded way before I made a sound. I know where my home is in the sound and vibration of my body. The communication with spirit and my knowledge base creates all possibility of collaborative existence. I offer a circle conversation on a song I composed for the opera. I asked some of my friends to help me. This is I Have Seen the Good Worlds, a journey to a song. Let's continue.
Shape God with forethought and care, fulfillment of destiny. Shape God with forethought and care, fulfillment of destiny. A unifying, purposeful life on earth. So those are the first words that we hear to I Have Seen the Good Worlds. Remember that my role in that moment and in the piece is as a talent. Talents are in the present, but they are from the future. So part of that open declaration is instruction. That's how I think of the entire song. It is as instruction in as much as it is a foretelling of how to live with the present. It is also a place of hope for the future, a way to help the people who are singing it and really conjuring it understand its purpose for understanding the present and making a future. So as the universe shapes God, darkness gives shape to the light. So that's what happens. We are shaping the universe and we are proclaiming light in darkness. The song does both things. And as we start to sing that chorus over and over and over again, people actually start to learn it and to sing along with it. And again, it's a place where they can claim for themselves an uncertain present with instructions for the future.
With forethought and care, fulfillment of destiny. Shape God with forethought and care, fulfillment of destiny.
I think that Bob wanted me to ask you about the technology of freedom. And
I thought that was a very, very good question with many different nuances that challenges how we understand science and who has the right to define what is methodology and what is science, and whether or not organized freedom fighting is helter-skelter or whether or not it is indeed a science.
I love that.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it is dynamic in the sense that it is dynamic. It evolves. And the thing about freedom fighting is that it is a continuum. Each generation has an opportunity to put their own spin on what it means, right? Building on what has happened in the past. And that way it's very creative. But on the other hand, it predicates itself on some very serious observations that Black folk have developed throughout the years, right? First of all, they understand that power sees nothing without a fight. They understand that there's power in the hands of people. They understand necessity. They understand that justice is not only transactional and materialistic, but they also understand that it's spiritual.
I can travel now. Got on my traveling shoes.
My body travels,
I can travel now.
but so does my spirit, so does my mind.
Got on my traveling shoes.
Regardless of where we take them, mind, body, spirit, take us, the mission, the destination is love. Love is freedom.
I can travel now. Got on my
First, allow me to call your attention to the gospel according to June Jordan in the book of the Creative Spirit children's literature. Love is life force. When we run on love, then we make manifest the creative spirit of the universe, a spirit existing within each of us and yet persisting infinitely greater than the ultimate capacities of any one of us. I'm not going to preach today, but the Black church in the Carolinas is the first place this preacher's kid learned about traveling. Traveling is about space making. A new place or idea, travel. A new perspective or possibility, travel. A new opening, or our original freedom. Freedom as infinite, non-binary spirit being. I know that the space making is almost the whole practice. For when we plant our seed, it knows who and what it is. Despite the fact that it may appear to be a seed, and don't you know, we may make a space for it, but we do not make it what it is. Its journey being stretched out in time, space, is an illusion. An illusion we get to experience for the sake of this embodied and incarnated learning environment.
Anytime I'm asked to offer my voice, whether that's composition or arrangement or orchestration, I always think about Black people. I always think about Black people. I thought about this idea of Afrofuturism. I thought about the idea of Black people, our people, needing to inherently think and dream through the future in order to survive their present day. Survival. What does it mean to survive? What does it mean to dream? What does it mean to claim home, to claim space that's home? So as the song starts, Toshi immediately speaks of this idea of destiny, your place, your home, your destiny. And I wanted to offer string orchestration that really helped to uplift that particular story, that particular truth, and to affirm that we know about our people's place amongst the stars.
Yes, that's Juliet Jones, who created string arrangements for this song that we created, and the song journey. Congregation circles the earth, the atmosphere, the water, the land, the air, kindness, the truth, reality, our hearts, our souls, our visions, our timelessness, our right now knowing the way forward, our right now knowing the way home. We can't get away from each other, even in our hurt, pain, fear, and resistance. We can't go nowhere and not find us. In our joy, love, wide open space, gigantic leaps into waterfalls and rainbows and edges that we fly off of, we will still find us. Being apart tonight and still trusting our voices into the air will find a receiver, even if we can't see nobody. So much of Octavia's parable journey is about each of our knowns intentionally moving into unknown places at a pace. Knowing something so well and deep about yourself that you recognize your good company even in the worst places. Practicing what you know and catching what you need to learn to survive, to do what we came here to do, live. At a certain time in this last section, there is something we can all do together. We can dance, we can make sound together from wherever we are. Wherever we are, when you see this happen, join together and let's continue. One thing that I find really interesting is that, especially as people come into their generation and they start to discover our history, that some people are right on time where they are, but you do hear this thing a lot, like, I can't believe we're still having to do with this. I can't believe, and I'm always like, well, how can science help us with that? Because, that whole disbelief that humans wouldn't continuously try to recreate the things they think they need, no matter how diabolical, across generations. And that if the people don't die who are kind of original creators of diabolical things, they're still working on it, no matter what we do.
I really think that we need to really tease out that, because we never are where we once were. Because to assume that we are where we once were is to say that we don't, is to talk about the fact that life is static and not dynamic. Now, what history tells us is that we can go through the same processes and the same activities, but the current situation is always different than what it was in 1945 or even in 2007. Because in 1945, we lived in an industrial society that was communal. Today, we live in a technocracy where intimacy is virtual almost, and we do not have community. And we live in a surveillance state. And so where we are today is a little bit more critical than where we were in let's say, 2007. And the other thing, the reason why we haven't changed is that the empire is very good at shifting reality and creating repetition. So so let's deal with the question of policing, right? We get all tied up in a conversation about social reforms in terms of policing. That really isn't the question. The real question is, what is policing? And people say it began during the slave patrols. No, that is not true. The moment Europeans put chains on Africans and put them above that site of terror called slave ships, we were under a system of policing. And Black freedom has always been a contested territory with white Europeans, where the political reality was enslavement. Freedom is a dangerous opposition threat to enslavement. And so Black people have lived under a system of policing from the moment of our captivity all the way up to today. And Black freedom is always a threat to white-skinned nationalism, which is predicated on the bodies and the lives of Black people, the commodification, the usury, and the containment and the surveillance of Black people. Even the thought of freedom was dangerous and subject to capital punishment during enslavement and even during segregation. Even the impulse, even the thought was policed.
Right, 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 right. Thank you so much for having us share this offering with you all. I have so much gratitude. I really want to thank Director J. Babalota and Helga Davis, Shango Dari Akinwale, Julia Jones, Kira Gaunt, and Rootstock Republic, string section, as well as the great Ruby Sales, for being a part of telling this journey. I am so honored to be able to introduce one of my favorite people in the entire universe, my sister, my kin, Leah Penniman. I am really, really, really happy to introduce her because her book, Farming While Black, is a Bible to me. It's a book I look at all the time. I am not a farmer, but this book does the deep work of teaching farming, but it goes into the whole journey of who we are as people on the planet. Very, very important. Leah Penniman is co-director and farm manager of Soul Fire Farm. Leah has over 20 years of experience as a soil steward and food sovereignty activist. Having worked at the Food Project, Farm School, Many Hands Organic Farm, Youth Grow, and with farmers internationally in Ghana, Haiti, and Mexico. Leah co-founded Soul Fire Farm in 2010 with a mission to reclaim our inherent right to belong to the earth and have agency in the food system as Black and Brown people. Her areas of leadership at Soul Fire include farmer training, international solidarity, perennials, writing, speaking, making it rain, and anything that involves heavy lifting, sweat, and soil. Leah's book, Farming While Black, is a love song for the earth and her peoples. And I have to say that we have a song in the opera, a sower went out to sow her seed. And that song says everything about Leah. So please, please welcome Leah Penniman.
Greetings, peace and blessings, family. My name is Leah Penniman. My traditional name is Manye Amidede Adelowo. And as my wonderful sibling Toshi said, I am a farmer for life, a food sovereignty activist, a parent of 2 teenagers, and a queen mother in the indigenous Vodun religion of West Africa. It fills my heart to be here with all of you to help offer this closing ritual for AMC 2020 and to do that alongside my comrade and dear friend, Toshi. So for the closing today, we are going to call upon the energy of water to help us take the lessons that we learned here forward into our lives. You are more than welcome to participate in this ritual. All you need is a bowl of water in front of you, like this one, with or without the flowers. And if you want to go ahead and grab that now, please do. AMC has reinforced what many of us now know in the deep, deep places of our soul, that it is the end of the world as we know it. It is the end. It is time for abolition. The abolition of harmful structures of white supremacy, capitalism, patriarchy, ableism, transphobia, and all other systemic oppressions that stand in the way of life, with a capital L, that stand in the way of life. The idea of abolition may feel terrifying because it offers a gaping and unimaginable unknown. But as Ruth Wilson Gilmore says, abolition requires that we change one thing, which is everything, everything. So when one says prison abolition, one cannot only be talking about prison. That doesn't mean anything. Abolition is not absence, it is presence. And indeed, what the world will become already exists in fragments and pieces, in experiments and possibilities. So those who feel in their gut deep anxiety that abolition means we knock it all down, do scorched earth, and then start all over, let it go. That's not what it is. It's building the future from the present in all the ways we can. Water has the power to wash away the grime and to leave behind just those fragments and pieces upon which a new world is built. I invite you to gaze at your water for a moment now and reflect upon what other strengths she has to share with us in this time. What strengths does water have to share with us in this time? Perhaps she can offer us patience. We know that water is judicious with her energy, gradually forcing hard stone to yield to her soft body over time, carving great canyons. We contemplate the need to think in terms of generational returns instead of quarterly returns, like water. Perhaps she can offer us nurturing. We give thanks to the wombs that have held each of us. We give thanks for the rain that makes our seeds germinate so we and all beings can eat and also breathe. We contemplate the need to nurture one another in this struggle for justice, as water does. Perhaps she can offer us the capacity to feel. We think of the tears, the salt water tears shed by our ancestors in bondage and in struggle. And we think now of the tears that we may be holding back that need to flow for us to heal and to be free. Perhaps water can offer us victory. Water rusts iron. Water can break the bars of prison cells. As it said in Oshe Torah, one chapter in the sacred literature of the Yoruba people, quote, "Nobody can be an enemy of water. We meet water at every turn. Water can never be disgraced." In other words, anyone who fights water will lose. We imagine ourselves as undefeatable, like water. Perhaps water can offer us love. In Vodun, the river and waterfall spirits are associated with the deity of love. Bell Hooks said, because of the awareness that love and domination cannot coexist, there is a collective call for everyone to place learning how to love on their emotional and spiritual agenda. We have witnessed the way in which movements for justice that denounce dominator culture, yet have an underlying commitment to corrupt uses of power, do not really create fundamental changes in our societal structure. When radical activists have not made a core break with dominator thinking, that is, imperialist, white supremacist, capitalist patriarchy, there is no union of theory and practice, and real change is not sustained. That's why cultivating the mind of love is so crucial. When love is the ground of our being, a love ethic shapes our participation in politics. We call upon love as the source of all of our deliberation and action. So I invite you to take a few deep breaths now in silence and think about the lessons and support that water has for you in this moment. Thank you. You may choose to repeat each line of this invocation after me, or you can listen in silence, or you can say your own prayer of thanks and supplication to the Spirit of Water. But with each line of the prayer, you're invited to trace a drop of water from your forehead across the crown of your head, front to back, and end at the nape of your neck. Or you may simply drip a bit of water right onto your crown. We pay homage to the spirit of the cool water. We ask that you wash away the ajoguns, the negative forces of oppression that seek to destroy our people and the planet. We ask that you wash away the lateral violence and hatred that seeks to divide our movement communities. We ask that you wash away the arrogance we have in relationship to the sacred Mother Earth. We ask that you wash away our trauma, our pain, our worry, our frustration, and our blockages. Water, bless us with discernment and calm deliberation in our thinking. Water, make clear the fragments and pieces upon which to build our new world. Water, bless us with loving and compassionate hearts. Water, bless us with health and connection in our homes. Water, bless us with wisdom and efficacy in our actions. Water, bless us with patience for this long march to freedom. Water, bless us with the capacity to nurture ourselves and one another. Water, bless us with open hearts that can feel all they need to feel. Water, heal the trauma of our ancestral lineages. Water, bring us complete victory over the forces of oppression and subjugation. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you for all the blessings you bring to us, Spirit of Water. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Thank you.